participants and distinguished delegates from the APEC economy. My name is Kanchana Wanichkorn. I'm the Vice President of the National Higher Education, Science Research and Innovation Policy Council, or NXPO Thailand. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the Asia and the Pacific Regional Dialogue on Science and Technology for a Sustainable Food System. This event is a side event of the APEC 2022 meetings hosted by Thailand. And today is the first dialogue of the series that we will focus on the role of science, technology, and innovation policy for transforming food systems in Asia Pacific and around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I think today's topic of transforming food system is very timely. I believe we all convinced from the COVID pandemic and the recent food shortage from the Russian-Ukraine conflict and the impact of climate change on our agriculture and food production system that we need to change and take action now. Otherwise, it is impossible to achieve our inclusive and sustainable development goals, utilization, in particular, the SDG on food security, to end hungers, to promote conservation and sustainable utilization of our biodiversities, protection of the environment and ecosystem, as well as to achieve our goals of transformation to carbon neutrality and net zero emission. The objective of today's dialogue is to kickstart our discussion, on these key issues, trying to understand these key issues together on, transforming our food system, in particular on the role of STI in helping this transformation. We also would like to discuss what we can do together, as a region, in particular at the APEC economy partnership, in developing STI approach, to support this transformation and to achieving our sustainable food systems. This is the first in the series, and we would like to also focus on the big picture, understanding what we could do in a holistic approach, in particular at the policy levels. What are the key enablers? What can we do together in supporting this transformation? And join with me today are four distinguished panelists who are experts, thought leaders, and also practitioners in the area of food system. Allow me to introduce our four panelists. The first, Dr. Koen Deconinck. He is an economist and policy analyst at the OECD. If you can wave your hand, and okay, Dr. Koen is here. Second, Mr. Sida Tamapura, he's the Senior Food Safety and Nutrition Officer at the FAO Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific. Hello, and third is Professor Dr. Joachim von Brau. He's the Professor for Economic and Technological Change at Bonn University. He's also the chair of the scientific group for the UN Food System Summit 2021. And last but not least is Professor Emeritus Dr. Graisit Tantisirin, the Senator of Thailand, and he's also former Director of Food and Nutrition Division at the FAO. Welcome. And I think we have about 2 hours, so let's start the first round. I would like each panelist to share your views. Each of you has done a lot of research and a lot of work in this area. So for the first round, about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes for each speaker to share with us your views on the role of science and technology innovation in transformation of the food system. I'll start with Mr. Dr. Koen Deconinck from the OECD. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation. I work at the OECD based in Paris, and I had the honor of leading the drafting of our report on making better policies for food systems, which came out last year. So if you agree, I'd like to share a few thoughts based on that report. So I'll try to share my screen now. I hope you can all see this. So first of all, the OECD has for a long time been working in the space of food and agriculture. And so this is just a small sample of the many reports we bring out. We don't focus only on OECD countries. We tend to focus on OECD and G20. We've done specific work on Southeast Asia as well. And so a lot of the work that we have done historically has focused more on the agricultural side of things. And it is really only in 2021 that we brought out our very first report that explicitly adopted this framing of food systems, the term food systems, which for us means the idea that we should connect what is happening in nutrition and public health, environmental aspects, agricultural production, rural development, etc. And we should see this as a connected whole rather than things that can be dealt with in isolation. And our report asks three main questions. The first one is, what are the challenges, but also what have been the achievements of food systems? And what is the role of policies in shaping that? The second one is, given that food systems are complex, how do we develop policies that are coherent? So how do we make sure that if we try to improve something in one area, that we don't accidentally make things worse in a different part of the food system? And the third big question we try to tackle is, what stands in the way of better policies? What is preventing us from actually having better policies and better policy outcomes? How do we overcome those obstacles? And so this also corresponds to the 3 chapters of the report. So to start with the challenges and achievements, we think that it's useful to think of the food system as facing a triple challenge, because there are 3 important things we want. We want food security and nutrition and healthy diets. We want to support livelihoods for some 600 million farms around the world, everybody who's working there, but then also many, many others who are working in other stages of the food supply chain and in fisheries, etc. And of course, we also need environmental sustainability. And as if that is not enough, the dotted line shows that we also need resilience around these different dimensions. So that is an enormous challenge. And one of the messages of our report is that things are not as black or white as you might sometimes hear in media reports. And sometimes people would take a very positive or a very negative view. In reality, it's much more mixed. So there's been some successes, but also some major challenges. And a second important message we bring is that better policies and better policy decisions can make a big difference. And there is a lot of work by the